Well, we tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, this is Warriors Anonymous.
This is Warriors Anonymous.
Kia ora whanau, welcome along to another episode, and we find ourselves thrown back into a bit of a tight jam. It's interesting. The Warriors have now suffered their third straight loss in a row. They've gone a month without winning football. A lot of the team may be struggling a little bit with this. A lot of the fans clearly are as well. There's been quite a reaction going on. Here on this podcast, we were actually literally made for this. We came about in times of crisis. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, you don't come to the right place. My name is Jarrett Cronin. Joining me is Moneta Sauce and Daniel Wharekura. And we are going to break it all down because there's a bit to get through on this particular episode. What was it? 14-8, we lost to the Newcastle Knights in Newcastle, in the wet. Just keeps on raining and raining everywhere we go to play. But that's all right. We're going to start with a quick hard or nah, because we want to really get stuck into the big issues in this episode, because people are getting, emotional about things. And one person, I'm not sure if this is hugely emotional, but I just saw the statement on our Warriors Anonymous Facebook group, and I just thought this would be worth a discussion for a hard or nah. And this comes from a good mate of ours, Chris Drake. And his statement is, put a line through us for this season. So these are pretty strong words, and I'd only really kind of take that sort of statement from someone whose opinion and motives I understand as a Warriors fan. So that's why we're putting it up. And I know that there's a few people feeling the same way. But boys, let's go for a quick hard or nah. We'll start with you, Moneta. Is it hard or nah? Are we putting a line through us for 2024?
No, I think it's still early days. I mean, I only think back to Newcastle when everyone kind of cut them out, and all of a sudden they made it into the top 8 in semis. Not semis, but the top 8. So no, there's still a chance. And again, it's not like teams are like beating us; we're beating ourselves, and that's how I look at it. Yeah,
that's a good call. That is a good call. We are not helping our own cause. Daniel, hard or nah, bro? Are we done for the year?
Nah.
That was far less definitive than I was hoping for.
No, I don't. I guess the optimist in me says no, just because just the way the comp is going as well. There's apart from the Storm, who seem to be not running away with it, but collecting 2 points every week. A lot of teams are beating each other. It's going to be a bit of a quagmire in that sort of 6 to 13 as well. So, look, I mean, top 4 is probably going to be a real push, just given the teams we haven't put away as well. Who will be on the bottom end of the ladder. But as Moneta said, you can get a run through, and we've had periods of this year that our football looks strong. So yeah, it's a nah, but it's not a super convincing nah.
It's you actually reminded me a little bit of going back to intermediate days, where you sort of ask the question, or like, do you like that girl? And you're like, nah. Which is very unconvincing. I like it, bro. I like it. Now, fellas, a little bit of mild controversy, shall we say, in this game, involving Dallin Watene-Zelezniak jumping up into the air, catching the ball, an attacking kick, and not quite getting to the ground to actually force it, albeit that he was tackled in the air. So that brings about a lot of discussion around a deliberate act, a penalisable offence, which directly stops a try being scored, and what the penalty for that should be. Should it be more than a penalty? Should it be a sin bin? Should it be a penalty try? Moneta, what was your thoughts on that particular play? Just while we're going to stick it to the referees in the bunker.
Oh, God. One thing, it was a deliberate tackle in the air, and I thought it was. So I thought it at least constituted a sin bin of some sort. So penalty, sin bin. I would have been happy with a penalty try, but I thought it would have constituted a sin bin at least because it was a professional foul. You know, you could see he was in the act of trying to tackle him to prevent him from scoring that try. So I would have said penalty try either way, obviously because I'm a Warriors fan, but at least a sin bin, like professional foul. Come on.
Yeah. Well, that's right. I mean, guys do get sent to the sin bin for seemingly far less, offences in terms of directly impeding a try or something like that. So, Daniel, I know that you've got maybe a theory about this.
Yeah, the theory relates to kind of something slightly different, but probably sums up the officiating today. I'm a little bit confused by the call or what constitutes a penalty try, because yes, without the tackling in the air, Dallin's more likely to hold the ball after a clean catch. So clean catch, then tackled as well. The only thing I can think is that they've said, well, Marju could have made a jump play instead of the tackle. So if he didn't do the tackle, he probably would have jumped, and there's still kind of a competing component. So that goes back to Moneta's point. Well, if it's not going to be a penalty try, then it should be it's a professional foul, right? Because he's chosen something. He's chosen a deliberate act to upset a try scoring play. So I'll be really interested to see what comes out of NRL HQ about that too, because it has a lot of people left head scratching. Butler did say they did rule it to be not a penalty try, so I don't know what that means, whether he thought it might have been a penalty try. But probably not, because Butler, I don't know if you noticed in the very sort of final minutes, and this is something the father-in-law picked up watching the game, and as we didn't seem to get the rub of the green, and there's probably a whole host of reasons why, but what seemed like the utter disdain when we went up for a captain's challenge in the very last kind of minute and a half, 2 minutes, for Montoya's play the ball as well, which was a bit of a Hail Mary, really. Most of us thought he's dropped it cold and managed to get it, but it's just the way Butler referred it. He just kind of just dismissed the kind of play like, it's just the Warriors. Yeah. Oh, they're challenging, it's the play the ball. Come on, mate.
Good point.
Be professional.
Yeah.
Don't need to rubbish off their captain's challenge just because you've been your call was challenged. So I don't know. It just seems to have a style that rubs Warriors fans up the wall.
Yeah, and I actually it's interesting with that tackled in the air one, because we've seen it. The same thing happened in round one. Mulitalo did the same thing, exactly the same thing, and we didn't get a try out of it. That one was probably even closer because Dallin didn't actually drop the ball. He was trying to get the ball down to the ground and got bundled out. But my little theory on this is I'm coming up with a prediction time because Isaac isn't here. He's over in Japan. So my prediction is that they're going to tidy up that rule. But the week that they tidy it up, it'll happen to us. That's my prediction. And we'll be like, what the actual shit? And they'll be like, no, we tidied up the rule. It's all tidied up now. Everyone should be happy. And we'll be like, well,
that was last week.
Yeah, that's right. It happened to us twice. And they're like, well, we've tidied it up. It's all good. We are the NRL. We are all seeing, all knowing. And we're going to find people as well. What about the Gus Gould thing? Him shooting his mouth off about the Tigers' misfortune, which also was dismissive in itself because we had 2 tries taken off us previous week. The Tigers get 1, and all of a sudden everyone goes absolutely bananas about it. So we got dismissed in that. But I just think it's a little bit... I think the game's getting itself into a little bit of murky waters when you try to...
Definitely. There was one contentious call yesterday for the Titans against Melbourne. And that cost them the game.
Really?
Titans were like... Was it only 2 points behind? 2 minutes ago, and they ruled it a strip, and the Titans player didn't even touch the ball.
Well, I think he touched the ball, but he didn't.
It wasn't
he
a
didn't
stripping motion. Yeah,
he
it
wasn't
wasn't
trying to
stripping
strip. He was just making the. He was trying to stop the offload and make the tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'd be a few discussions, to your point, G, about just some of these rules, the murkiness that's occurring at the moment.
Yeah, especially just going back to that point around murkiness of the rules. The classic, right, is the defender making a defensive decision to play the lead runner. Like, so, and then what also just frustrates me is then 3 minutes later, they called it was a kind of a late hit, but they tackle a player off the ball, clearly who's dummied or gone through, and they tackle him, and then they get penalised for tackling the player without the ball. It's like Hastings has made a defensive decision to go, and they said back in the day, and I think even Blocker supported this, right? To be fair, and
Blocker was all about it. He was up in arms about the one.
Yeah, they don't push off anymore because they don't need to.
Yeah,
they don't need to push off anymore because they'll just they just wear it, and they get the call. Yeah,
in the first half, Jack Hetherington ran behind one of his players while they're on attack, and then kept going, and then threw an offload, and nearly scored out of it. And it was like, sir, you can't do that. But I guess we probably should have let them score. Maybe, I don't know. That's the
other thing too, because then you get a chance to kind of recall it, don't you? Maybe we should chip in and give Gus Gould some money for his rant, because he's doing his best to kind of explain how stupid some of the rules are.
People support him though, and I'm one of them. I'm like, mate, the guy's got a point. Like, seriously, guys, the rule makers and the adjudicators need to look into this, because it's a slippery slope once you go down that kind of path.
100%, man. Like, all you do now is your defensive coaches just go, run into the lead runner. Run into the lead runner and you'll get the call.
Yep.
Can I add also contesting for the ball now? That's become a bit of a no contest now in the air.
Well, they're worried that if they don't get it right, I get the deliberateness, the deliberate, like, kind of jumping and not even being in the vicinity, jumping early, jumping to take the player out. But even if you do jump and you look like you are going for it, and you might overcook it or something, you get called the distractor.
Yeah. That's
the distractor.
Hoover's in the heart. That's what I thought.
Dropped it.
That's why I pushed that away.
What a name. Distractors.
That's one thing to remember, kids. Don't grow up to be a distractor. Anyways, I guess on the positives, Moneta, we can't blow a 12-point lead if we'd never have one in the first place.
Hey. You can't lose what you never had.
Yeah. I mean, in saying that, our D did look better. The tries that did score, again, were down to errors, basically. So, if there's one area of improvement there, we can say we've done better at, and that's our defense compared to other weeks. But again, it's just those areas are just killing us, and this just at the wrong time is killing momentum. And I don't know how many times I've said it, and I think Webster's has said it every week. We've just got to cut them out. But the bench, but I'll leave that for you, G and Daniel. But the bench, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, the bench is a bit of an interesting one as well. I guess on that point, I'm kind of starting to look at things a little bit cynically. This is maybe another conspiracy theory just to share with you guys and everybody who might be watching. The Warriors, right? They conceded 2 tries. So in my mind, they need to basically, if they're going to do that, they're going to need to score at least a couple more tries than their opposition in order to win, because we're going to get taxed a try from the bunker, as is what happened today, right? We got one try, and then we got the second try taxed, so we needed another try to, maybe 1 or 2 tries. Same happening against the Titans, 2 tries taxed off us, but that's try tax. That's my little theory. But what is up with these errors, man? Like that first 20 minutes was just abysmal.
Yeah. I think the 2 categories of error, like, first of all, the inside the 10s and the penalties. I don't know if there's a hold down penalty, but I think we know that the challenge has been to win the ruck, slow down to play the ball, and also obviously then part of that is getting off our line, defending. So, you normally test it out in the first 5 or 10 minutes to know where you are as well. So, but look, they were super officious, and maybe we just jumped off. You can't tell with the offside stuff. You can't kind of tell. You just got to hope it happens to both sides as well, and whether it did or not. And then the drop pill doesn't help. I mean, the conditions were shit.
Yeah, true.
Horrendous. And actually, to be fair, the pitch was terrible. I mean, I thought Roger almost did an ankle in one of his skip plays, and it was almost a situation where the Vossi thought we'd knocked the ball on it to play the ball. It's like, no, it rolled back into a divot, and the ball stopped rolling. So it looked like he kind of didn't get it, So that just doesn't help when you're a team that are lacking a little bit of confidence. When you come up against some pretty shit conditions. Both teams had to play in those conditions as well, and just to point Monita's part around our defence looked better. It definitely did, but it was a pretty shithouse Newcastle attack, and I rinsed out last year fucking Jackson Hastings and Tyson Gamble, and they got the dub over us. I mean, ugh.
Yeah, true.
But,
you got a fair point there.
Yeah.
Oh, that is even worse.
Bro.
Sorry, bro.
I'm in the same. I was in the same boat last week talking about Tanner Boyd in the lead up to the Titans game, just like free,
Tanner Boyd,
just absolutely getting stuck into him, and then he skins us, and it's like, guys. But Monita, on the other side of the ball, i.e., our attacking flow, man, like where's it gone? What's happened to it?
Yeah, I could definitely say where is it gone. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Probably, I think there's a couple of components to it. I think teams are actually starting to realise our attacking pattern, so they seem to be packing, their defence a bit more on the right hand side, and but we kind of forgotten about the left hand side. I feel like it's become so predictable that we'll go down the right hand side.
You mean we have a left-hand side?
Yeah, no.
I thought we just had right and then further right. Anyway.
I don't think we've forgotten about the left-hand side. It just can't execute. I just
don't know,
attacking enough.
Like, it just seems... I don't see the spark. You watch the Broncos, even though they lost. And even the Dolphins at times, their attacking play looks awesome at the moment. But I think the teams have just read us, and I think back to what Buddha said. We're losing a bit of confidence, I think. So the execution isn't coming off as slick as we usually do, but I think we've got to think of some other plays at the moment.
If you're defending against us, you go, no, you know what? You just stack your left, because all you're going to do is watch where Sean is. You can actually just give them an overlap. Give us an overlap on the other side, and we just don't have the capability to execute that. Variety of reasons,
Oh yeah, it's weird, eh?
And then you also just go mark Adam, so you know that when we come back, Adam's going to be your key man. So just make sure you keep shoulders on him. So dare I say it? It's we've been found out, I guess, and we have to evolve. And I think the league has evolved, right? Like, we did so well last year playing that kind of clinical footy, kick to the corners, defend them up, Panthers 2.0, high energy, and teams beat themselves. Teams, didn't want to get in the grind, teams dropped the ball, all sorts, and then we got on top of them. And we saw at the start of the year we could play that football and compete and do well, but as the competition's got up into speed now, teams can handle that, and they're just absorbing that from us. And then they're counter punching, and we just don't have at the moment we just don't have that strike. We're just not winning the middle. We're getting shit slow play the balls, and people are moaning about Wade getting out, but he can't get out off the back of slow play the balls.
Yes.
No one's punching their nose through, and it's just I feel like we've gone back, a couple of years, not through sort of lack of trying, but it just feels like you lose the middle, you lose a few other things, and then next thing you know, everything's kind of unraveling a little bit.
I kind of feel like, I sort of feel like this year is more what I kind of expected from us last year, which obviously the expectations get adjusted because last year ended up being awesome. So then we come into this year thinking, man, we're going to go out and carve, but it doesn't necessarily work out that way. But Moneta, but we've had maybe a couple more injuries as well, picked up from that game. Capewell, the old calf, once you get over the age of 30, it can be a debilitating one. Yeah, that's right, exactly. And also Dylan Walker, who I thought played bloody well, seemed like he was trying to run around out there on one leg, but he kept getting the ball for some reason. It was like, leave the guy alone. He's battling out there, and he kept fighting.
But he was one of those players that played outstanding, I thought.
Yeah. And then we had Mitch Barnett playing big minutes to fill in for the Capewell injury. It gets us to the bench area, and a late change was made to bring Adam Pompey on to the bench in replacement for Jacob Laban. Keep going to call him Ken. Jacob Laban. What were your thoughts on that swap? Considering the way that the match went, we didn't end up actually using Pompey at all.
Well, it's a tough one because at times where I just go like, Webster's made that decision, right? There's a reason, but I couldn't quite understand this particular reason, and especially now when Capewell got injured, Laban would have actually slotted into that position a bit more and given a bit more breathing space for Barnett to actually be a bit more of a punching prop. So I was a bit confused. Usually I do go in Webster, we trust. This time I was questioning that, Webster, what did we do that for? So yeah, I wasn't quite sure, and we didn't even use Pompey. So
I think he's got he had Pompey there as just a traditional backs cover. I think they didn't want to make Dylan Walker have to cover a backline position. They know he can play bigger minutes or more minutes. I don't know exactly how many, but I would guess at least 50 minutes he would have played as well. And Mitch Barnett has just become that edge cover. It must mean they don't quite trust Jacob Laban kind of to be out there for big minutes. Not too sure, but yeah, it might look a little bit confusing, but I guess it's without a Chanel there or someone like that, you wouldn't want to. The way we're going at the moment with the middle, we need Dylan Walker in there. We can't afford Dylan Walker not to be put into the back line somehow, right? But it does look odd, and Warriors fans are just confused by it.
Just the back. I don't think you got a point there. I think the forwards are doing okay. The back line is looking rusty. Like, if I'm being brutally honest, the back line itself, like, I think, we're just not looking right. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah.
Sorry for the interruption there. The prince has come up to say his piece, and you might be able to hear him even making his little sort of...
That's how I was after the Warriors lost.
Having a mad grumble. He's like, yeah, that's right, fellas. Bloody hell. What are you doing, bud? What are you doing? Anyways, where were we? In terms of that attack, what's the story with how we're using, say, Tamaiti Martin? Because we seem to be just centering everything around Sean, and that generally gravitates to the left-hand side. But what are you seeing and how we're using Tamaiti or not using him at this point?
Yeah, he's obviously struggling a little bit with what his attacking role is or how he executes his side, I think, which is a real shame. We struggled to kind of shift ball on as well. He ran into a bit of a cul-de-sac at one stage today, as well, and then you got shunted all the way back a bit, so that's been not great. And then, yeah, I don't know, maybe we just need to build up some confidence in some plays. You know, why can't we just run a few short balls to the edges just to get some momentum going that way? Or perhaps if he's not going to be contributing out left like that, then get him out to the right as well. So let him, and maybe get Sean one pass out wider as well. I don't know. Need to find something, and maybe it is a little bit less fancy, and it's more around just running the lines, running the holes. You know, I guess what we do miss that with Metcalf, that ability just to pick up balls short from somewhere and hunt down the line. And to his credit, like he was trying at the very end, he had a little bit of a half break bust, you know, in the last couple of minutes as well. But it's just not functioning at all, and then so we just don't go to it.
That's right, and I mean our only left side attack play is kick it to Rogers' zone on the 5th, on the last tackle, and you can see Newcastle had done their homework as well, because they just sent Gagai. He was waiting there. He was like, yeah, sweet. So why are we just need to, I don't know, do we need to like just be a bit more eyes up on it and give ourselves an option? If they're going to drop back, let's chuck it wide, or roll the kick in behind a grubber or something to just vary it. I don't know. It seems a little bit odd, I guess, that we're not sort of reacting to what the defence is putting at us. But in terms of positives stuff, like Moneta, what did you like? Obviously, we defended our line. We saved tries right at the end. Maybe who individually stood out to you in this one?
I know CNK made a couple of errors, but I thought he had a mammoth effort at the back again. Despite some of those errors, he made large meters again. The injection of Dylan Walker, I thought was good. He provided that energy up front, and he obviously scored that try. It's hard to. I guess it's not as easy to get some positives out of this, because you kind of starting to see a bit of a pattern all the way stemmed back from the Manly game, where I think we were quite lucky to actually draw that game, and I thought, okay, we would have learned that, but we seem to be just progressively getting worse. In that first 20 minutes was probably the worst I've seen them. But then I guess the positive, they were able to get back and start forming a bit of structure. But it's the wet weather that kills us, I think. We're not a wet weather, so we've got to think of something to be able to combat that. But I guess positive.
I thought
CNK and Dylan Walker.
I thought Bunty had a really good game.
Yeah, Bunty. He made good meters.
He just goes to show why his value in the team as well. So he was punching holes in the middle. Just feel like we didn't get off the back of it though. He wasn't a kind of a follow up kind of run on there. And I thought Shawnee defensively was strong. He was trying his guts out. Defensively, especially in the last 20 minutes to make stuff happen as well. So when you got your halfback who's chopping guys out from dummy half and putting shots on bigger guys as well, just trying to change the momentum of the game. They're good signs, but I think across the board pretty flat really, I reckon. Just not our day.
I've actually been liking what I've been seeing from Jackson Ford, having pushed him over to the right side rather than the left, which he's normally accustomed to. But Moneta, despite Chan's playing, I'm starting to puff here, carrying this bloody 15 kilo friggin' Frenchie. It's getting a bit warm under the headphones. Moneta, the talk doesn't seem to die down around Chan's being fullback versus Roger. So what's your take on that? Are we doing the right thing? Do we just carry on doing as we go? As I guess as long as we're losing games, people are going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just the nature of the beast at the moment. When we're losing games, a lot of the fans will start to look for solutions and what they think would help the team. But for me, I still think CNK should stay at the back. Just as effort plays. And today was a hard game. I mean, wet weather. Everyone was kind of dropping the pool, so you can never fault his effort. I do question the combination between RTS and Montoya. Again, it's probably left side again, and I just don't think we're unlocking RTS. So I'm always thinking Montoya might need a bit of a break and maybe put RTS into the wing and and just who's that centre? Runga?
Ali Loatawa.
Yeah, Ali Latawa. Give him a chance in there. We know he can play, but there's something about that left edge we need to fix. It's just we need to get some variation. We just can't keep on. I can't emphasise it enough, but we can't keep on going the right side all the time. We're becoming too predictable, and teams are reading it. Yeah.
I guess we have to adapt as well because that left side is markedly different to what we started the year with. In particular, Metcalf's been swapped out for Martin. Prior to that was Chanel came in for a little bit. And then you've had between Capewell and Laban bouncing around between different injuries and that sort of stuff. So there's just no sort of continuity there. But having said that, it doesn't seem to be a clear sort of plan for what we're doing over there as well, which is an issue. But we've got a run coming up, haven't we? We're going to play the Roosters and then the Panthers.
Great.
All of a sudden, everything seems a lot worse. In terms of thinking about the here and now, let's think about the game coming up against the Roosters. What is the biggest work on for the team for that game?
Wow. They're flying high, the Roosters, after a pretty big win in the weekend, Friday night. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, we've got a game plan that we're obviously sticking to. I don't see us trying to deviate from that, which might sound a little bit controversial, but it may not say it's done its dash, because I think there's some footy fundamentals there, but I think we need a little bit more than just what our current game plan suggests. And I never thought I'd say this as well, but if you look at the Canberra Raiders this weekend, like they just had this unpredictable style of footy where they've just got guys with some, how do you put it, like just strong and some just uncanny ability. A bit of a ragtag bunch at times, but I don't know, our predictability tag we just kind of getting wrapped up at the moment, and we just need a few things that are a little bit more unpredictable.
Yeah,
Roger showed a little bit of that just towards the end. He had that big run where he just kind of cut back in, and to Monita's point, bringing someone like Ali Lauatawa out, I don't know, I don't want to sound sort of defeatist, but if I look at some of those other teams, they just seem to have some physical beasts that are just a little bit offer something a little bit different, a little bit more punch. Poke your head through, get an arm out, get an offload. God forbid, throwing an offload. It's hard for me to say this because I know that when we put all that shit away and we focused on what we did so well last year and we did so well at the start of this year. But I don't know, maybe the competition's changed a bit and you need a little bit more unpredictability.
I just think it's odd that our only attacking play to Roger is a kick, and it's like, guys, what you need to do is give him a little bit of even a half gap or something on, and he can create something. Like, it doesn't need to be a lot, just a half a gap,
Get him more part of the set plays on the left. Like you give him a bit of space, a bit of a gap. He can obviously make the meters, but it just doesn't look like it's happening. It's always down the right hand. And anyways, enough. I could talk on and get frustrated about it. But yeah.
I gotta say, I'm starting to get into the territory of the movie Moneyball, when old Brad Pitt's character, whenever the games are on, he just does workouts. So now 2 weeks in a row, I've gone like straight after the game and just gone and done a bit of a workout. This one was a lot easier. The Titans game was nuts. I just went and did a weight session and just fucking went bananas. Today's was just an easy sort of go on the rowing machine, so that helps. But it's getting into interesting sort of territory in terms of coping, with the less than ideal sort of setups. But I guess, a lot to be sort of tuning in for as we head into the game against the Roosters on Sunday, Father's Day. Mother's Day. I think.
Mother's Day.
Sunday.
So yeah, anything else you fellas want to chuck in before we look to Teams Day to take on the Chookies?
Well, Teams Days could be quite interesting because, Kate well likely to be in doubt on how Dylan Walker comes back from, how he's pulled up after that outing as well with his leg, being on one leg. Couple of people on report as well. Tohu House for a little chicken wing shoulder. Yet Greg Marju doesn't get one.
Yes.
So, and someone else is on report too. I think Jackson Ford for a crusher. Oh, no, hip drop, whatever. Something. He didn't
Was it the
drop
one where
on
he
his
didn't
leg.
land on the legs?
He didn't land on the legs, but he tackled him and was on the ground or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
You shouldn't get... Yeah.
He dragged the guy down to the ground in a tackle, which is on
So
report.
that would be really fucked if we lost some guys, but surely they'll just get some slaps on the wrists as well. Because, well, I was going to say, once you get charged for weeks, you take the early plea because no one's getting off anything at judiciary except the player's player who's the voice of the RLPA, whatever it's called, the Rugby League Players Association, Daily Cherry Evans. So, one guy's going to get off.
in town.
So, could be an interesting Tuesday Teams Day. So, lock that one on the calendar, team.
That's right. Get ready because we're, we go again. Got to dust ourselves off and hopefully go a bit better. I don't know.
Oh, man, I'm trying to be optimistic, but, man, the Roosters are looking hot. Like, good.
Maybe that's just what we need. We're going to just expect nothing of us and then we'll go better. I don't know. I tend to think we might play up to their level, but still just lose. On that positive note, my name is Jared Cronin. This has been Warriors Anonymous on behalf of Moneta Sauce, Daniel Wharakura, and also Isaac Sauce, who is over in Japan, the land of the rising son-in-law. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in a couple of days for Teams Day, Tuesday, to take on the Chooks. It'll be fine. It's all right, guys. It's all good. The Waz.
The
The Warriors.
Waz.
And stuff the bunker.
The pan.